After a very informative first visit to the orphanage in Novo Celo, I made my way to Mick and Christine's house. I wanted to know why Mick would leave a well-paid job in Norwich to come to a rundown area of Bulgaria and, against all the odds, set up a chef's school. Now Mick, what encouraged you to start to set up the chef and restaurant school for the benefit of the residents in the children's home?
January last year, Christy and I came to Bulgaria for the first time. We were having supper and friends happened to mention that in the village of Novo Celo, where we now live, is a children's home, and in the children's home is some 38 kids. It just seemed a logical thing to do. You know, I've worked in education for 22 years, I've been a chef in industry for 35 years, and to give these kids a chance when you hear of the plight that they go through, there isn't any jobs from at the end of it, there's real issues, and it is a poverty area. It just seemed a logical thing to do to set up a chef and restaurant school and use those skills that I've got.
What are your aims for the chef and restaurant school?
Oh, good question. I'd like it to be one of the best training centres in Europe, using the best of the system that's available in the colleges in the UK. Using the skills and knowledge that I gained at both Grimsby and Norwich. I want it to be a quality training programme which gives the trainees really good education, using good quality ingredient and good quality equipment. In March I went to visit the local college in Vidin, and I was saddened to see that the kids A, have to pay for their own ingredients, and B, are working on domestic equipment. Well, in the UK the kids get it free, and they're working on proper industrial equipment in a real good, safe working environment. I want to do it over 3 phases, and so I can really structure it and make it happy. And if you think about it, the kids in the UK get it free, and they're from affluent backgrounds. And here in Bulgaria, it's only the lucky kids that get it trained, but then they still have to pay for ingredients. So how can a kiddie in a children's home ever afford to do that sort of thing? So I want to create that system that's same as the UK.
Why 3 phases?
Well, it just seemed to be the most logical way going about it. Rather than just setting up this chef school and it was all over the place. It's just easier for me to plan, and it's easier to ensure that we actually could get success. And so therefore there's a logical sequence, and it guarantees that we have a good product at the end of it.
What is phase 1?
Well, phase 1 is the fundamentals, the principles of the things they're going to be learning. So in the kitchen they'll be learning the principles of cookery, stocks, sauces, and gradually, typical to an FE model, they will develop their skills, but they won't be expected to run before they can walk. So they'll learn all the different dishes, and both European cookery and some American cookery, and also some Bulgarian cookery, because it's a European cookery program. But one of the benefits of this is that the kids will be cooking the food, but yet the residents of the children's home will actually get to eat the food. So they're going to get a better diet as well. They'll be cooking for large volumes. I'm only expecting maybe 6 or 8 kids to be training at any one time. They'll also attend English classes, so therefore they'll be developing that English skill as well. But phase 1 will always depend upon funds, because obviously to buy the ingredients, to pay for commodities and those sort of things, and we're giving the food away, we're not selling it, because the kids in the children's home haven't got that sort of money. But it's the principles of the cookery. But then also they'll be learning how to set up table, how to meet and greet people, so that when we move into phase 2 eventually, then they'll have those necessary skills.
What about phase 2?
Well, phase 2 is taking those skills and applying them in a commercial environment. So the idea is we're working in a restaurant. So those in the restaurant, when the guests arrive, meet and greet, usual skills that they would develop. And that's important because here in Bulgaria there aren't those skills. You go into restaurants here in Bulgaria and it's not as good as it should be and could be. And if it's going to become a real tourist destination, then those skills are going to be needed. In the kitchen, an order will come in and they will produce as you would do in a normal restaurant.
And phase 3?
Phase 3 is where we really see the success of what I hope to achieve. At the end of phase 2, we should have a portfolio that says Petrov is 18 years of age and these are the things that he can do, because what I've got is some USB sticks that have been donated, and what we're going to do from day one is take pictures of Petrov, the dishes he's produced, how he's developing over that period of time, and I'll write a little narrative about how he's, almost like a report about how he's working. And then what we'll then do is then contact people back in the UK or chefs in Bulgaria or other parts of Europe and say, here is Petrov, he's 18 years of age, this is what he can do, would you like to employ him? And if they say yes, then I would say, okay then, make a donation back into the orphanage, because if you were to advertise and interview and go through all that procedure, it would cost you money. So rather than do that, here you are, buy a ready-made product from me.
What part will you take in the training of others?
I see myself as being the mainstay. I'll be training the kids in phase 1, so I'll be doing the cookery classes. I hope Christine will do the restaurant. Christine worked some time in hotels and restaurants some years ago, so I'm hoping she can use those skills again. And I'll be doing the kitchen in phase 1, but then also doing the production kitchen in phase 2. And then obviously using the contacts over through phase 3. And then hopefully as we develop, who knows, you know, there might be somebody else from the UK wants to come and help. I've had offers from Cyrus Todiwala, who said he'll come over and do an Indian cookery class with me. I've got Chris Paul from Serco at Norwich and Norfolk's offered to come and help. Barbara Abrams and people at City College Norwich have all said they want to get involved. And so I think, you know, for the mainstay it'll be me who's doing all the work.
Thank you for explaining so clearly to us what you were doing. Is there anything you'd like to end with?
Well, yes, I'd like to say thank you to a lot of people. There's, whilst I've mentioned some names, it would just take too long to mention everybody's names. And so all I could reassure people is that their name, their help and their support is deeply within me, both in the UK and here in Bulgaria. I've been overwhelmed by the generosity of people, by the well wishes of various people, and all I can reassure people is that those things keep me going. Thank you.
Something to think about. Chris Paul from Serco has a different and more profound way of reflecting upon what Mick is doing. Chris said, "There is a human cost if nothing is done. If you don't give these kids a chance, what do they have to look forward to? Drugs, prostitution, thieving or begging?" According to Valentine, 90% of the girls from the children's home end up working as prostitutes in some lay-by on major roads. Maybe what Mick is trying to do is much bigger than just setting up a chef and restaurant school. Mick still needs help with equipment and funds. If you can help in any way, please contact him by email, mick@essentiallymickcooper.com, or visit his website www.essentiallymickcooper.com, where you can read about his progress.